Hello, and welcome to our second video tutorial. Today we'll be looking at creating a design template file in AutoCAD. So first you'll need AutoCAD 2013 or some later version of AutoCAD. I don't think it really matters, whatever you feel most comfortable with. So go ahead and open an instance of AutoCAD. And the first thing that I would suggest doing is check to see if you have any lag going on with your mouse. If you do, then there's a couple performance things that you might try. Go to the menu, select Options, and then go to System, Performance Settings. Here, click on Performance Settings, and you'll see a number of options. I would suggest, if you're having lag issues, maybe select Adaptive Degradation if it isn't already on. If it is, and you're still having trouble, go to Manual Tune. Manual Tune will allow you to enable hardware acceleration. Now this will allocate a little bit more energy and power from your computer to handle some of the graphics capabilities of AutoCAD. So it'll be a little bit more strenuous on your computer. You might have to plug into a power source if you're on a laptop somewhere, but it can be well worth your while to eliminate lag. So go ahead and apply these properties and you should be good to go. Now if you have more problems, there's a lot of online resources on how you can improve your AutoCAD performance, but I won't go over these. You can look those up. Now, next thing I'd like to do is go ahead and select the units that you'll be drawing in. First, go to the menu, Drawing Utilities, and then select Units. Here, you can select anything you really want. I personally like to use architectural, just because it allows you to input line lengths in terms of both feet and inches. So, my precision will just be the default, 1/16 inch, and the unit will be inches. Select OK. And now when I draw a line, I can actually specify, let's say I want to make it 1 foot, I'll do 1, and then apostrophe for foot, and then maybe 6 inches, 6, and then a quotation mark for 1 foot 6. Now when I look at the properties for this line, it'll show that it's exactly 1 foot 6 inches. And that can be very useful if you're trying to dimension something according to maybe dimension limitations like minimum bridge height, maximum bridge height, minimum distance between the decking support surfaces, anything like that. It's very useful. So now a couple extra options. You can select whatever you want. I like to have the grid on. I also like to have polar tracking on. As for object snap, I like to include endpoints, midpoints, intersections, tangents, center points. You can do whatever you really feel like, but these are all kind of just personal preference stuff. And I also like to include dynamic input. That just makes it much easier if you want to draw a line, say, at a particular angle. Then you can directly input, say, 45 degrees, and then change the line to whatever length you want. Now, let's next take a look at some of the other options for creating layers. Now, obviously, if you're going to be using this file for generating a bunch of design files, you want to have a lot of preset dimensions and other things like layers, just to specify that, okay, this is going to be a decking support surface, or this is going to be a webbing or something like that. So it can be very useful to have preset layers that you can import into SAP later, and the more descriptive of the name, the better. So go to your Layer Properties tab and it'll bring up this little nice Layer Properties Manager. So let's make a bunch of new layers and just name them whatever we think would be useful. So like I said, decking might be useful. How about webbing, like I said? Things like chords, maybe legs. Laterals could also be nice. How about a couple things that aren't bridge related? What about load points? Points where we'll be applying load in SAP, or maybe even deflection points. That can be useful as well. Now we also might want to include something like boxes. And this will be the bounding boxes that will restrict member size. That's the 3 foot by 6 foot by 3 foot by 6 inch by 4 inch box. We might also do limits. These could be things like minimum height requirements, maximum height requirements, minimum fan length, things like that. And then we'll do maybe something like dimensions, dims. And I like to personally color these in some kind of scheme that'll help me remember what it is. Usually parts of the bridge I'll color warm colors. Things like this. Webbing I'll make yellow. So anything red through orange through yellow, I think I'll just kind of color these warm colors. You know, you can color them however you think is logical. Load points. Now, these aren't actually part of the bridge, so I'll color them something like green for load points. Deflection points I'll make cyan. Box will just be blue. Limits about purple. And dims, I don't know. I kind of just want to leave those as white, so we'll just keep it as white. So that's a good set of starting layer stuff that you can start with. You can add more, or customize it however you want to any degree of specificity. You could even specify particular tubing sizes, like if I wanted to say maybe I'd add an extra layer for 3/16 inch tubing, the really small stuff, and then you'd already know that, okay, I want these to be the smallest I can get, and then specify them accordingly. So when you open them in SAP, then you can automatically specify tubing sizes fairly easy. So the next thing that you'd probably want to do after all this set it up, go ahead and open the Dimension Style Manager. So dim style. And we'll create a couple of new styles. Dim big, how about? And dim small. So oftentimes you'll find that when you draw in AutoCAD, it's difficult to get the dimensionings the way that you want them, especially if you're trying to print out maybe a set of plans so that you can show someone what you mean about a particular drawing or a particular detail, as they say. So let's maybe have two different dimension styles. Dim big will be for if we're looking at the whole bridge. Those will be bigger sized dimensionings. And then dim small will be if we're looking at smaller details, say like connections or things like that. So let's start with dim big. We'll set it as current, open it up, and we'll change the size scale for dimension. So type in dim scale, and we can change it to maybe, how about 6 inches? I don't know, doesn't really matter. So now when we do a dim lin, we'll have a pretty big dimension, and that'll be nice for overall dimensionings. Now go back to your dim style, switch over to dim small, set it as current, and then change the dim scale to something like, I don't know, whatever you think would be best. I'm just going to put it as 1/2 inch. So when I do a dim lin, it'll be a lot smaller. But when you end up dimensioning smaller things, it'll actually be appropriately sized. So those are some of the starting places that you might try to create your own design template. So hopefully this was useful. You can go ahead and save this wherever you want and call it design template. I don't know. But again, hopefully in the next few lessons we'll be expanding on this particular file. We'll use it as a starting point pretty much to maybe do a couple of sample designs or drawings and just get a general feel for how to translate the rules into something that you can actually draw. So keep this file in hand, because hopefully as we move forward we'll be using it. And until next time, I will see you later.